today I'm getting ready to start some seeds inside. Now, you might be asking, why, Amanda? Why are you starting seeds inside? Because it's too dang hot outside. We have triple digits right now. So I want to show you guys what I was going to do for my July, what seeds to sow, so I can show you what's going to be sowed outside, which is very few, and what I'm going to be sowing inside. As always, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you know when my latest videos are up, and make sure you drop me a comment below. Are you still seeding? Are you still sowing seeds outside? Are you starting any inside? Yeah, inside. Okay, the weather is crazy here in North Texas, Zone 8A. We are having triple digit temps and we've been having them consecutive days, and the prediction is that we're going to pretty much have triple digits all the way through July. That's intense. I'm working really hard just to keep my plants alive. I'm not really even worried about production at this point. I just want to keep them alive so that when the cooler weather comes through, then I can have production. The only seeds that I'm sowing directly outside right now are sunflower seeds. I just did a whole set of sunflowers for pro-cut sunflowers, including red, pro-cut red, pro-cut lemon, let me see, red lemon bicolor, pro-cut gold light, and pro-cut white light. Those are the only things that I'm sowing out directly outside right now, and that is sunflowers. Sunflowers don't transfer very well when transplanted, and they do great in this heat. The only thing is when you're planting these sunflowers, you need to consistently water them on a daily basis until they start sprouting and get a few inches tall. After that, they're probably good to go. Okay, so let's talk about what seeds I'm going to be starting inside. In actuality, I'm going to be starting quite a few zinnias. I didn't have as many zinnias returned from last year as I have in years past. So I'm going to start several varieties just for fun. I'm going to start them inside in my seed trays. So I'm going to be working with Zinnia Giant Double Flowered Canary Bird. And all of these zinnias I'm selecting for the days bloom. Like this one in particular, this is 35 days to bloom. So basically at this point in time, I'm looking at when my frost date is. And for Zone 8A, it's typically sometime in November, into December. In years past, it's been December. And so I still have a lot of days for blooming, but I'm selecting things that I know will bloom prior to the first frost date. You don't want to go in and plant something like, if your first frost date is the end of October, you really don't want to go in and plant something that needs 120 days to maturity, right? Because it's going to freeze before the bloom actually arrives. So you want to be really smart on checking when these plants are going to be mature, when they're going to be blooming, and counting back from there to make sure you have enough time before your first frost date. So let me start that again. Zinnia Giant Double Flowered Canary Bird, and it is a 35 days to bloom. The next is a Zinnia Giant Double Enchantress, and that is also a 35 days to bloom. Next is a Zinnia Giant Double Violet Queen. That is also 35 days to bloom. Next is Zinnia Envy. Yeah, there's some in there. And that is a 35 days to bloom. Next is Zinnia Oklahoma Mix. And everybody says that these are great, 24 to 30 inches high. These are 35 days to bloom. Zinnia Cherry Queen. That is also 35 days to bloom. And then finally, one that takes a little bit longer is the Zinnia Queen Lime Blush. It doesn't say how many days to bloom. I'm assuming it's around the same time, but on average, I would probably say the Queen Lime Blush. These are the Queen Lime series. They're typically about 50 to 60 days to bloom. So I'll be starting that. So I'm going to be starting all of those inside. And the reason I'm going to be doing that is just so hot outside, and it's so hard to kind of watch what's going on with the seedlings, with the seeds. So I'll start these as seedlings inside. I'll transfer these to larger containers, probably 4-inch by 4-inch containers, and then I'll gradually start hardening those off by moving them outside into the heat for short periods of time until I'm ready to finally transplant these into my raised beds. All right, the next one I'm going to be starting is a marigold, and it's a Mission Giant Yellow. And it is 2 to 3 feet high, and it is 65 days to bloom. And I'm really hoping that these are beautiful come fall. I struggle with marigolds sometimes, specifically with spider mites, so I really have to keep an eye on these, but you know, for $1.99, I'm willing to give them a try. The next I'm going to be starting is a bronze leaf fennel, and these are 50 to 60 days to maturity. I am hoping to do these, like put these in to utilize in arrangements, but also I'm hoping that they'll kind of naturalize in their bed so that potentially they'll come back year after year. I'm going to be starting another round of Limelight spray millet. And the reason being is I accidentally killed those seedlings when I transplanted them. I transplanted them before they went on vacation and they didn't make it. These are 70 to 80 days to maturity. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these started because I would really like to utilize these for fall arrangements. I've had a lot of luck with winged everlasting this year. I really enjoy the look out of it. It's a very tiny, sweet little almost straw flower looking type of bloom. They're 20 to 26 inches tall, 70 to 80 days for maturity. I already have several going, but I'm going to make additional ones and plant it among the ones that I already have going. So I want to get those started as well. Okay, I'm also going to restart some Tong Ho big leaf chrysanthemums. Now I did start these in one of the back gardens, one of the back garden areas. However, my amaranthus grew so tall so quickly it overtook these chrysanthemums. So I'm going to go ahead and start them again because I really did like the look of them. I think they're very cheery and happy. They can actually be used for, let's see, the flowers are really good as a gourmet delicacy, lightly fried tempura style, atop salads or as a tea. So anyway, I want to go ahead and get those started. I think they would be really fun to play with as an alternative to sunflowers. Next, I'm going to start another round of corn. This is Sweet Corn Burpees Triple Crown White Hybrid. It is 75 days to harvest, so I still have plenty of time. It is, let's see, it doesn't say how tall it grows on the package, but it should be a nice sweet corn, which is great for eating. It says high sugar content, gives perfect flavor. So I'm going to get those started. Okay, so these next ones are ones that I'm kind of taking a risk on because I'm starting a little bit late on them, but I want to go ahead and get them started because I would really like to utilize them in some of my fall planting. The first one is Rebecca, and it's a Sahara. Beautiful colors for the fall. It's 100 to 120 days. So 120 days would put me August, September, October, November, right? But if I get to 100 days, that would put me towards the end of October. So still some time to enjoy it during the fall. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a try, see how it goes. Maybe I'll fail, I don't know. It might not be enough time. It's considered a tender perennial in zones 8 through 10. 9 through 10. I don't know. Best grown as an annual. Maybe I could give it a try, and if it does well, plant it and then try to overwinter it. We'll see. I'm also going to try a cherry brandy Rebecca as well. That's also 100 to 120 days. Next, I'm going to be growing Zanzibar, which is a very cool plant. It is a 70 to 80 days maturity, which gives it enough time for me to utilize in fall plantings. 18 to 24 inches tall. I'm going to be starting that. It says direct seed is better, but it does say I can transplant. Yep. So I can try transplanting this as well. So we'll see. They are very good. You can cut stems for cut flowers. Once the flowers have begun to open and show color, that says the stems harvested before color is showing will not open in storage, and it does really well as a dried flower. I feel like I'm just fumbling over my words today. And finally, I'm going to be starting a cream pink hybrid cut flower kale. It is a 90 to 110 days for it to mature. It doesn't really talk about how, these grow 10 to 12 inches tall, remove the lower leaves, and then you can cut them and utilize them in designs. That's what I'm going for. It's definitely a long-lasting cut flower, so we'll see how it does. Okay, another set that I'm going to be starting this month, and I'm not going to be starting it right today, I'm going to be starting at a later date. Basically, I'm going to be working on some hardy annuals. So these are some blooms I'm going to go ahead and start now, plants I'm going to start now, and I'm going to try to overwinter them so that in the spring I get earlier blooms quicker, right? So the first one I'm doing is a Status Forever Silver. Next, I'm going to be doing 2 types of snapdragons. The first one is Potomac Berry, and the second one is Potomac Early Sunrise Mix. I had a lot of luck with my snapdragons last year. I started them early to overwinter them, and I ended up getting a lot of blooms during the fall before the first freeze came through. So that was really, really great. And then I'm also going to be starting several varieties of Campanola, also known as Bellflower, also known as Canterbury Bells. I'm going to be starting it in white, Champion Lavender, Champion Pink, and Champion Blue. And then I'm going to be starting 2 types of Foxglove or Digitalis, Dalmatian Peach, and Camelot Rose. All right, so I'm feeling really good about those. I'll get you guys updated and let you know how all the seeds are going. Probably in the next 2 weeks, I'll let you know if they've sprouted and how they're doing inside. Oh, there's a little bird outside sitting on my tripod. Sorry, distracted. But I'll keep you guys updated on those. I hope you guys are still trying to plant, still trying to grow. It has been rough in this area. I know we're just doing a lot of just trying to survive at this point, but I'm trying to stay positive and keep moving forward with everything. As always, she's a mad gardener or decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.